Hey everybody, it's Asian here again with another dungeon guide. This one is going to be Banished Cells 1. I will be playing my stamina tank, a new build. Say is going to be healing. Mr. Say and Reaper are DPS. Nothing to worry about here in this dungeon. Bosses are pretty straightforward, no need to reset vampirism or anything like that. As usual, we'll be skipping over all the trash mobs, and once we get to the bosses, after I finish explaining the boss mechanics, we'll skip over the rest of the boss fight. There's one thing to keep in mind for last boss, in that he has an untauntable move that can one-shot DPS if you have between 16 and 17k health, so keep that in mind. I'll discuss some strategies to deal with that when it comes up. The first boss, Cell Haunter, he fights pretty much like your normal Wraith. He has a special move, you saw that there, which is a green poison beam. You cannot break that, the tank can't interrupt that move, you're just going to have heal through that. One thing that I have yet to try is you can try to break line of sight to try to break the beam, but it's far easier just for the healer to heal through that move. This is Shadowrend. This is the next boss. To get him to appear, you need to hit two buttons. First one's on the back, next one's going to be on the right when you walk in. And he'll spawn in the middle of the platform there. He has two attacks. The first one is a tail swipe attack. Takes a long time to charge up, lots of time to move out of that. Second attack is right there, a charge attack. You can use break free, or somebody can bash Shadowrend to interrupt him. And then you'll split into a copy of himself with about 50,000 health. The copy can do the exact same moves as Shadowrend can, so just burn down the copy. Here, Mr. Say and Say actually lose their connection, so it's just Reaper and I slowly burning the boss down. The copy hits as hard as the original, so you do want to burn that copy down as soon as it appears. Just gonna skip past all this. This is the next boss. Pretty straightforward, comes with a bunch of ads. Make sure to burn the ads down. They'll probably give you more trouble than the boss herself. She doesn't do anything too bad. She's your standard fire mage. She'll summon Clannfear. You'll see that Clannfear running around. That is from the boss. Just deal with the Clannfear. The Clannfear has no special mechanics, just your typical Clannfear tail swipe and charge attacks. She only summons one at a time, nothing to be too worried about.
Good.
This is the next boss, who's a Bone Colossus. Nothing too different from your standard Bone Colossus. He'll summon 3 skeleton ads that will attack you for a short while, then explode for AoE damage. His main concern for melee DPS is he has a stomp move that creates a red circle. It might be hard to see with all the armor procs going on. You can see it clearly right there. That does some AoE damage, so if you're a melee DPS, just be aware of that. It doesn't hit for too hard, so the healer can heal you through it. Just gonna skip past these trash mobs, onto the final boss. Before you fight the final boss, you gotta take care of some trash mobs around the crystal. If you're going for hard mode, read the scroll. It just gives him some more health and makes him hit a little bit harder. He'll spawn on that platform there. A couple of mechanics in this fight. Throughout the fight, he will summon an orb, a healing orb from that spot. One DPS is going to have to burn those orbs down so they don't heal him. They heal him for about 3 to 4% of his health, so it's not a big deal if they happen to hit him, but you want to avoid it all the same. When he raises his sword like that, he's going to summon fire circles. One will appear for each player, so you will want to keep moving during this fight so you will not get hit by those circles. He has a heavy attack that you need to block. It'll knock you down. And right there is the untauntable move. That is the move that'll give you the most trouble in this dungeon. He'll randomly target one player and hit them with a firebolt. If you don't have high resistances and have low health, it can and will one-shot you. In this particular fight, both Mr. Say and Reaper will both get one-shotted by that move.
Did you get him?
I got him. I thought they had the health and the resistances to stand up to it, but they did not. One thing to keep note of, when you do die and you res after the fire rune, you saw it there, a fire rune will still appear where you res. So just be aware of that. If you do res immediately during or immediately after he does that fire rune attack, you're going to need to dodge roll or run out of where you are immediately, because you will be hit with that fire circle right away. So if you have low resistances and you don't have over about 17,000 health, there are a couple of strategies you can do to try to combat the untauntable one-hit KO move. The first and probably the easiest thing to do is to use a damage shield or a move that gives additional resistance buffs. If you are a light armor DPS, you can use the light armor skill. That'll give you a damage shield. If your tank is a DK and has access to Igneous Shield, or I think the base skill is called Obsidian Shield, you can use that too. If that's the case though, you're going to need to stand close to the tank in order to get that damage shield buff. And of course, you can also use any sort of resistance buff that will increase your resistances. For instance, the heavy armor skill has that one ability that gives you resistance buffs. It counts as a magic move, so you're going to want something that gives you, I believe it is Major Ward, that increases spell resistance. So the easiest thing to do is just to equip a damage shield and cast it every 5 to 6 seconds, because there's no way to predict who he will target. The alternative option is to block that move, but it can be difficult to block it because you only have a very small window of time to see whether he's targeting you and when that bolt actually hits. Alright, there we go. We managed to kill him after a couple of wipes. That is the end of the dungeon. Banished Cells 1. The only tricky part, again, is that untauntable move. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys at the next dungeon.